Now, did you think manifesting your dream life was going to be easy? I did. Now, I've spent over 20 years studying the great teachers and eventually manifested the life of my dreams. Man, has it been a challenge. I really wish I could have done things smoother to speed up results. So to help your manifestation journey go 10 times easier and quicker, here are 18 lessons I learned about manifestation that I wish I'd known sooner. Lesson number 1. Now, my family and I are living in a 2-bedroom apartment. We're barely paying the bills, and yet had this vision of manifesting our dream house with a tennis court. Because as a full-time tennis coach, I'm sick and tired of waiting for hours to secure a court on the park, only to be chased off by city officials. Now, we had no idea that we could do this. House prices in LA are astronomical, and to find one with a tennis court is next to impossible. Then COVID hits. All of the tennis courts are locked down, and I had no way to earn income. But our vision never wavered. And one day I get a phone call from a student who met a woman that I coached over a decade ago on her own tennis court. They discovered they both knew me. He told her that I needed a court to coach on, and she said to call her. So I did. We had this amazing conversation, and she said I could coach on her court anytime I wanted. I was overjoyed, so I thanked her, and I jokingly told her to repay her one day that I'd just go ahead and buy the house from her. Only she didn't think it was a joke, and she proceeded to make us an offer to acquire the house that we couldn't turn down. We now live in this house, and our life has changed forever. So lesson number 1 is you have no idea how something is going to manifest. If you're clear about your intentions, if you stay in a positive state no matter what happens, and you keep taking inspired action, your dreams will manifest too. Lesson number 2. Now, in my 20s, I was usually either smoking weed or playing video games. And my energy was in the gurgler, as Stuart Wilde would say. Then one day, I heard about this exercise called My Perfect Average Day. The idea is you can't be a hooligan every day, but there was this hypothetical day that if you had to live for the rest of your life, you'd be pretty happy. So I wrote out my perfect average day in a ton of detail. I wrote how I felt in the morning, what I was thinking about, and even wrote about the delicious aroma of coffee beans brewing as I walked down my staircase to prepare for the day. Now, I went crazy and just put everything that I wanted in there, and I filled up about 9 pages. Then I recorded it in my own voice and started to listen to it every day. I'd get into this feeling of already being in my dream home, already being with my soulmate, already having a nice car. And a few years later, literally everything in that original document has manifested. So lesson number 2 is to write out your perfect average day and just go hog wild. Write it out in the first person, write it in the present tense as if you're already living it, and then record it and listen to it daily. You can even put in some binaural beats if you want to really imprint it on your subconscious, and you'll be amazed at what happens. Lesson number 3. Now, when I first saw The Secret, I thought that I'd start meditating, I'd imagine my dream life manifesting, and then it would just happen. So you know what? I did that. And then nothing changed for a while. I'm chanting affirmations until I'm blue in the face. I made vision boards and nothing happened. Then I heard this teacher talk about acting on your passions as a demonstration to the universe, as a physical representation of the energy that I would use to manifest. So I started writing, I started shooting videos. My wife and I did all this fun stuff together, and you know what happened? Opportunities started to come. Money manifested out of nowhere. Ideas started to flood my mind. So lesson number 3 is to act on your greatest passion every moment that you can. When you start to actually do the thing that you're passionate about, it raises your energy. It's like a vote for the you that you want to become, and you'll become more magnetic to that life that you desire. Lesson number 4. Now, I was broke until fairly recently. And in the beginning, all I wanted to do was manifest more money. So when I was 30, I did what any normal person would do. I got into multi-level marketing to sell $5,000 water machines. It'd be a slam dunk, right? Not only would I have a nice big fat commission check every water machine I sold, but everyone who bought our machines instantly became part of our downline, which means that when they sold one of their machines, I'd get paid for it too. So now I'm calling all my family members and friends and starting to push these machines on them because I had convinced myself that it was best for both of us and for them to buy one. So after a few months of this, I'd ruined a few relationships. I'd sold exactly one machine to my wife now, who probably just bought it because she loved me. And after that fiasco, I realized that it wasn't money that I was after. It was the state of aligned abundance and true personal connections that I really wanted. So lesson number 5 is make sure you know what you really want. We want money because we really want freedom. We want a romantic partner because we want love. And we want a fruitful business because we want fulfillment and enjoyment. So find what you really want and then set your compass on manifesting that. Lesson number 6. So in my 20s, I'm a nervous wreck because I was really into these conspiracy theories. And I was just so anxious that I was afraid to leave my apartment. It wasn't until I replaced the Illuminati stories with exercise, meditation, and talking to good friends that I realized this. So lesson number 6 is to stop consuming information and programming that's not in harmony with what you want to attract or who you want to become. Trade your doom scrolling ritual for some deep breathing. Swap gossiping for loving words of affirmation and start getting involved with your passions. You'll be a heck of a lot happier and will manifest more things to be happy about because that's just how the universe works. Lesson number 7. So after we manifested our dream home, we suddenly had this mortgage that was double what we were paying. And we had to figure out how to pay for it. So one of the things that we did was start taking people on these tennis and pickleball destination trips. And on one trip, I met a guy who asked me how he would structure a group pickleball program. In about 30 minutes, we had this really good structure for the group class. I thought it was so good that I decided to start teaching it on my courts here at home. Everyone loves it, and it's made a lot of money. So lesson 7 is to realize that you already have everything you need to start manifesting more of what you desire. You just need to become aware of this fact and allow yourself to tap into your creativity. Lesson number 8. Now, I was a shy and awkward kid, and as a result, had zero success attracting women. It got so bad that I started reading these books and attending seminars on picking up girls. And one of the things they suggested was for us to take on this persona of a ladies' man. It felt completely ridiculous, but I was willing to try anything because clearly what I was doing wasn't working. So when I went out, I pretended that every woman in the room wanted to date me. And you know what's crazy? I started getting phone numbers and dates, and ultimately it allowed me to meet my soulmate and marry her. So lesson number 8 is to act as though you are already the person that you want to be. Just start acting like that person. Think like them. Feel the way they feel, and you'll naturally attract what that person naturally attracts. Lesson number 9. Now, once I got into this work, I started feeling like I was going backwards. So I started trying to root out all of my negative emotions, but it was like a giant game of whack-a-mole. As soon as I thought I'd given up resentment, I'd become sad. When I was done being frustrated because I wasn't manifesting what I wanted, I'd feel unworthy. And then I realized that all of these emotions were coming from my thoughts. So lesson number 9 is that any negative emotion that you experience is due to the thoughts that you think, which ultimately come from what you believe is true. So anytime you're feeling negative emotion, just ask yourself this question: what would I have to believe is true about myself in order to feel this way? If you really dig into this question, you'll start to uncover the hidden beliefs that are blocking your ability to manifest your desires. And once you let them go using the Subconscious Reset PDF, link in the description, and replace them, the whole game changes. Lesson number 10. Now, in my 20s, I was a nervous wreck. And it got so bad that the only thing that seemed to work was to numb myself with drugs and alcohol. And of course, that only made me more anxious. And I started manifesting things that I didn't want, like, my car breaking down, things getting stolen, my so-called friends double-crossing me. And after completely ruining a relationship with someone who really mattered to me, I was so upset with myself that the only thing I could do was to meditate. And I started with 5 minutes a day, and I did it just about every day. And slowly, I started to feel less anxious, and things started to improve. So lesson 10 is that meditation can calm you down. And once you calm down, you'll become aware of some of the things going on in your life that no longer serve you. And you start to develop the kind of confidence that you need to change them so that you can manifest more of what you want faster. And you don't have to meditate an hour a day. You can start small, just like I did. Lesson number 11. Now, with all that said, in the beginning, I was a terrible meditator, so I thought. I'd sit down, I'd close my eyes, and my mind would just go crazy. I'd start thinking like, I want to get up, my back hurts, why in the hell am I doing this? I'd get up a few minutes early and say, yeah, that's good enough. And then I heard Dr. Joe Dispenza say that meditation was like taming a wild animal, and that each time I settled my body back down and found the present moment, it was like I was overcoming my past conditioning. And ultimately, I was changing my energy, and miraculous things started to happen. So lesson number 11 is to learn what you're doing and why you're doing it so that you can get better results in whatever you're doing. It'll enrich your experience, your energy will rise, and ultimately, you'll manifest more of what you desire into your life. Lesson number 12. Now, in junior high, I ate double cheeseburgers and French fries for breakfast. And I stayed up late playing video games, and I just wasn't in very good shape. And this wreaked havoc on my confidence. And it was one of the reasons that I was such a shy and awkward kid in hindsight. My vibration was really low, which affected every single manifestation in my life. But when I started prioritizing sleep, and I traded ding dongs for apples and started playing more tennis, things started changing big time. So lesson number 12 is do your best when it comes to sleeping, eating, and exercising. It'll have a profound impact on your energy, and you don't have to be perfect. I certainly am not. But since everything is about energy, everything is about frequency and resonance, you'll naturally start manifesting more good stuff because you'll feel better about yourself and just in general. Lesson 13. Now, I started talking about this YouTube channel for years, and I knew it was going to be one of the most rewarding things I'd ever do, and yet I did absolutely nothing for a really long time. And it's because I was scared. I was scared of being judged. I thought nobody would care. I was afraid of failing. And every time I decide to start tomorrow, my energy took a hit. But when I finally decided to act on my passion and start flipping the channel, things started to change. Every time I took action, every time I wrote a script or shot a video, I could feel my energy shift. So lesson number 13 is that when you feel inspired to do something that you're passionate about, act on it. Every time you do, you're moving the needle towards the manifestations that the future you naturally attract with ease. Lesson 14. Now, in the same breath, when I really got going on this channel, I felt this compulsion to continuously pump out content. And I became obsessed, and not in a good way. I was thinking, okay, this is the new me. I got to do these videos or it's all for nothing. And that energy was the energy of desperation and separation. And the manifestations around me reflected that. The next video would tank. Sales would be lower than before, and I'd just be going through the motions. It wasn't the energy of inspiration, of joy, and of excitement. So lesson number 14 is don't force yourself to take action. Get curious about why you lost the inspiration in the first place, and make sure that you're not placing unreasonable expectations on yourself. And the big one, the really big one, is make sure that you're not attaching your self-worth to what you accomplished like I did. That's a very slippery slope. When you allow the feeling of joy and excitement to be the driving force in your life, you'll be amazed at what happens. Lesson number 15. Now, when I was 21, I was dating a girl that at the time felt completely out of my league. And I was hooked, and it wasn't good. I started worrying about every time we disagreed. I was terrified of losing her. And I gave off this really weird energy of desperation, this energy of lack, the energy of separation. And you guess what happened? Yeah, that's right. We broke up. I sabotaged the whole thing. Ironically, it was the attachment to this girl that ultimately doomed the relationship. So lesson number 15 is don't attach yourself to an outcome. It's only going to trap you. It's only going to drive you crazy. And ultimately, it'll prevent the infinitely better possibilities from coming to you. Lesson 16. Now, once I started getting into this whole conscious manifestation thing, I started chanting affirmations. And every morning I'd get up, I'd get all hyped up, and I'd scream them at the top of my lungs. And a few months later, all I had was a sore throat and an empty wallet. And the truth was, I was doing all of this in an emotional state of lack. I still felt poor. My energy was still tuned into separation, and therefore I kept attracting lack. So lesson 16 is that you can only attract what you're the vibration of. In order to attract abundance, you've got to think, feel, and act abundantly. And once you start embodying abundance, abundance will show up. The same goes for anything else that you want to manifest. Lesson 17. Now, as you could probably guess, in my 20s, I had my head pretty far up my you-know-what. And I had this friend who always said, "You already have everything you need, Ramon." And at the time, it just kind of pissed me off, to be honest. I felt even worse because I wasn't manifesting the life that I wanted. And this guy was a true friend. He'd give me great business ideas. He was always trying to help. But they always just flew in one ear and out the other. It's like he was broadcasting on FM radio and I was tuned into AM. So lesson 17 is you can only receive information and ideas that are in harmony or resonance with your current state. So as Bob Proctor said, you can't be in an X-type vibration and receive Y-type ideas. If you want access to better ideas and awesome synchronicities, then focus on raising your energy and you'll be shocked by what you experience. Lesson 18. A few years into this manifestation journey, I started to feel pretty lonely. I'd be standing in line at the supermarket just wishing that someone knew who Neville Goddard was. And the more I embodied these teachings, the more people I met who knew about them. So lesson 18 is to find people who get this manifestation stuff, who love to talk about things that you love to talk about. It's going to raise your energy, it's going to raise theirs, and you'll all win. Hey, thanks so much for watching this video. If you start applying these lessons, you'll start seeing some real shifts in your life. But none of it will matter unless you understand the 8 laws that every great teacher agrees on. So watch this video next and I'll reveal those 8 laws so that you can be sure that you're manifesting more of what you want. All right, I'll see you in that video.